We are back. Majora's Mask episode 2. So, turns out you cannot save until you finish the first 3 days. Which I absolutely did know. I knew that for a fact, and yeah, I forgot. So like I said, it's been a while since I played this game. Like, that Skulltula actually bamboozled me, as Mikey would say. You gotta hit it once, turn around. Bubbles move at a very odd pace. Kinda hard to get them. So, drop nothing, that's fun. And so, yeah, I was talking about how much I really like this part of the game. And it's because of what's at the end of this little, like, sewer tunnel. Half dungeon, whatever you want to call it. I don't know why there is a balloon there, but it's fun. Let's get up the ladder, huh? Can we do that? There we go. So, I think this is the end of the little sewer, and here it is. The most magical thing kind of ever. So, this is the Astronomer's Observatory. I think this might be my favorite music in almost all of Zelda. I forgot that there's a little scarecrow guy. These scarecrow guys can help you pass time, which is actually very important in this game because there's going to be times where you need to do events that happen on the third day, and you don't want to wait the whole time for the third day to come. So here is the astronomer, and it's kind of random. He's just at the end of this bomber squad tunnel. He's just hanging out here, and so he talks about that the moon sphere is gonna get stolen, and that he wants it. And so this is a really random section of the game that, yeah, I think is so cool. This game has a lot of just random perspectives, like, for how odd it is. Oh, yeah, I forgot, I'm controlling the telescope right now. So if I look up, it'll finish the cutscene, so I'm gonna kind of look around, see what's going on. And so I think it's so cool about the telescope and the astronomer is that it's such an outside perspective on Termina, which is this town. And it's, or well, I guess Termina's the whole land. This is clocked down. It's this outside perspective that, like, you don't really have to worry about the crazy things that are going on, like this guy. And you know, you're just observing until you look up and see you can't really just ignore anymore. Here you actually have to deal with this. There's a moon that has a face on it. And I think just things like that happen in life where you decide that it's no longer something you can just step back at. Especially, I think what happens here is the school kid, oh, he just sees the moon teardrop. I thought for a second he was going to see you looking at him. Or, yeah, there you go, he does. And it's this thing where, like, you're on the outside looking in, and you realize that you can't stay on the outside anymore. It's just this weird idea in life where at some point you have to make a move. Just really cool. And so anyways, we're going to stop looking through the telescope. And for what I know, this here astronomer that's just hanging out here with, like, the best music ever, tripping balls with all these colors and whatever the hell's going on, man. I don't think you ever see him again in the whole series. Like, I don't think you have to do any side missions with him. I hope you do. I'd really love to do it. I think he's a cool character. Oh. So you have to get that moon sphere that fell. And I'm not exactly... I know there's like an exit right here, yeah. That would have been bad if I went the wrong way, because you need this to get to the end of this whole 3-day cycle. So here's the moon's tier. It looked pretty green when it was falling, now it's blue. Makes more sense because it's a tier. And look at all those constellations on the outside. This game was so far ahead of its time. So, we're gonna get the hell out of here. There's too many colors, too many brightness. It's a little too happy for us. Look at us, we're a Deku Scrub. We're sad. We are sad. So go ahead and jump off here. We make our way back through this little bomber squad tunnel. It's very random that they claim to own this area when it really looks like just a sewer where maybe like mafia people would torture others. I mean, that could be what the bomber squad is. They look like a bunch of assholes. They made me find them all for this. And so, in between the part where I saved the end of the last episode and where we picked up here, this is basically what happened. Basically, every 24 hours in the game, which isn't like a real 24 hours, obviously. Apparently, it takes about 25 minutes or 20 minutes. I don't know. It takes about that long for a day to pass in this game, and you have 3 days until our boy. I could probably look around in a better way than shooting bubbles, but until that, our friend the moon is gonna fall into town. So you have 3 days until that'll happen, and you definitely you want to save the world before that. And something cool about Clockdown, this music that plays in it, each day that passes, it picks up tempo. So on the 3rd day, like by the time the moon's about to crash, it's actually like really anxiety-inducing, because this once happy music is just like playing in your face and like making you realize, oh shit, like I need to move. And this is gonna be like the only time in the game where you can let the 3 days totally happen, because you kind of have to. Let's see, so the next part of the game is you need to find this flower to fly up with. There's not as much of finding as it is, like it's just right there and I'm not seeing it. There it is. There we go. So you may recognize these flowers from last episode where you jump in them and they can let you fly around. And here's our boy, we're going to call him Deku Jeff. Deku Jeff owns this flower, and he doesn't want us using it when he's not around. However, hopefully we can find a way to let him use it. And so he didn't get his wife anything for his anniversary because, to be honest, he's seeing another Deku babe. Deku Mikey, if you want to say. And so he needs to get a little gifty. Well, let's show him what we have to offer for his wife. I have no idea what controls the arrows are supposed to be on a Wii U. It's not that. I have no idea. What the fuck? I'm very sorry for this part. I just have to figure this out. Let's do it together. Controller settings. So can we do the D-pad? Cannot do the D-pad. How am I supposed to figure this out? Oh, I see. I see. That's so weird. You have to use the right joystick for those. Not comfortable, but I'm sure I can get used to it. Alright, check this out, dude. Yeah, this will make your wife wet, that's for sure. It's a good one. Because he's Deku Jeff. And he needs to get Deku Mikey a little wet, like a fish with no eyes. Enough of the strange in-life references. So basically, he's going to take that and go ahead and give you the deed for his property. So now we can use the flower to fly around with. And off goes Deku Jeff to finally get laid for the first time in 6 years. I'm right there with you, man. Right there with you. Oh. And there's an abnormally long cutscene of seeing him fly away. But, I think that's basically it for the 3 days. For at least the things that you have to do. These things shoot you hell high up. Gonna go ahead and get this heart piece here. Boom. So Tattle lets you know that the door to the clock tower does not open until midnight on the 3rd day. So what's gonna happen is we have to wait here until the end of the third day. Obviously that's not super fun to watch, so there's one other thing I gotta say. There's lots to do in Clocktown, but there's not a whole lot to do when you're in Deku Scrub. The place was simply not built for it. So there is one thing I would like to try to do. You can try to catch all the stray fairies for the Great Fairy. And I think if you do that, you get something special, but hell if I know exactly what it is. Look at these guys. This is quality entertainment. The thing about it though is I think some of the stray fairies only show up at a certain time of the day, which could make it a little frustrating, especially if we already maybe missed one. Oh, that guy tells you to throw it if you forgot. How nice. Yeah, so I think what we're gonna do, just because you can do a lot in Clocktown, just not until you have like your sword and arrows and whatnot. So I think what we're gonna do for now, maybe let's go up here, because I think you use this to get one of the stray fairies. But once again, I'm not sure if you can do it at any time of the day. So do a little shooty shoot. And, you know, I think this is a part where... So later you're going to be able to transform between Deku Scrub and regular Link. And so that's how you get up there, but then you'll need to progress as regular Link. So these masks later on will become essential tools for traveling. So what we're going to do for now is I'll pause the video and let the 3 days wind down. And then I will continue and just... Alright, and here we are, we're finally back. Right now we're looking at the clock just hit midnight on the day of the festival, the third day. And you see all these fireworks going off, but we do know that the moon is right above us. Like, so basically, within this time that I skipped the video, the moon got closer and the people working for the festival in town all kind of got really anxious, freaked out, and started to run away. And I don't blame them. So we've got 6 hours of the game time left to basically get up these stairs. And what we do is we have to face Skull Kid and hopefully get the mask. If we get that mask, we are set. Just give the mask back to the mask salesman. He can turn us back into a boy, and we're good. And again, hopefully you hear this music. You know, just it's so simple and so dreary, man. So Tattle and Tail are finally reunited, and for some reason, so the two fairies are Skull Kid's friends. And yet, as you can just see there, Skull Kid smacks one of them. And yeah, see, you can see as Tattle is saying right now, he's definitely not the same person he used to be. Majora's Mask is kind of like the ring from Lord of the Rings, where you can only have it on so long without kind of being taken over. The mask of the Mind of Stone. Oh, this guy's screaming, man. I just don't hear that anymore. And so Majora's Mask is able to start making the moon fall even faster, I think. And yeah, so he's got a lot of power. Not much we can do. I don't think he necessarily attacks you. Basically, all you have to do is not miss your bubbles the whole time. Like I just did. Try to hit him. There we go. And you hit him with a bubble, and what's he do? Silly guy drops the ocarina. Which the ocarina is not at all important to Skull Kid. He was just keeping it because he could. But it's very important to us. We got it from Princess Zelda back one game ago. And here comes a flood of memories, where hopefully we're going to remember some good stuff. So in the last game, you get the ocarina that she drops while being taken away by Ganondorf, I believe. Something like that. And you pull it out of the river, and then when you go to find her, she teaches you how to play songs on it. So you know, like I said, I beat this game once before, but it was a while ago. Probably close to like 4 years or so ago. Around when it came out for the 3DS. And so... that is not Zelda's Lullaby. I think that's Song of Time. Why is it the Song of Time reminds you of? You have to understand right there, the controls on the Wii U gamepad playing that is very awkward. Like, playing this song on the, I remember the Song of Time, woohoo! So, playing these songs on Ocarina of Time was, like, pretty natural feeling. Even on the 3DS, it was pretty natural feeling. But on here, yeah, it's kind of weird. I can rearrange the controls, like I think you saw earlier. But honestly, this is about as good as it's gonna get. It's just not the same. I don't think X and Y actually do anything though. So by playing the Song of Time, well, you didn't actually play it yet. We learned how to play it. So what we're gonna do is go to our ocarina and equip it. Fairy turn green. Never seen that before. How do you play it? Boom. Yeah, see, in unlike the actual 64 or 3DS. Is that not how you do it? That was funny. Let's see. Because I swore all you have to do is play a Song of Time. Or do you have to play it backwards? Which would be... I think I just played the regular Song of Time. Oh. Did I not play it right the first time? I don't even know. So yeah, we play Song of Time, and the Song of Time is able to take you back 3 days to before the moon is about to crash, and gives you more time to be able to get ready to get the mask back. And so, yeah, that's the whole premise of the story. So you get your memories back at the beginning. Yeah, you're flowing back through this all. But the thing is, you can't go back all the way to when you were a kid and before the ocarina got stolen. You can't skip that. You always spawn right when you enter into Clock Town, I guess, yeah. Pretty interesting, because if you were able to just go back and completely avoid getting, like, mugged, that would change the game, huh? And what's interesting is that Tattle always comes back with you too. And so they do such a good job just showing this like mystic feeling of, wow, like we legit came back in time. Like, you see it, like the amount of like pause they take, they're actually stunned, just like you should be. And so yeah, we weren't able to get the mask back, so our deal with the Happy Mask Salesman is definitely not still going on. But what we can do is go tell him what happened, at least, so we can go back in time. Look at this creepy guy. So, you know, obviously he gets straight to the point. And he thinks that we have it. Look at his neck. Jesus Christ. And here's possibly my favorite song in the whole series, Song of Healing. This song is going to be used a lot, basically to get other masks. Okay, see, I'm playing this on a joystick, so... boom. Like even like on a joystick, you know, when you're clicking right, but you just do a little bit too diagonal, and all of a sudden do it wrong. Luckily, when you're playing instruments in this game, you're not like forced to do it before an enemy attacks you or something. Like, it pauses everything so you can play it. So the Song of Healing, basically what it does is it'll usually take something and make it into a mask. Like, it takes the spirit of the Deku that like you were turned into and makes it into a mask. It heals evil magic and troubled spirits, as you can see. And so that is the real gimmick of the game here, I guess. Well, besides the fact that there's a 3-day limit that you can go back and forth from, but that your powers completely change based on what mask you're wearing, which is super sick. Like, you don't really see anything like that in new games. You know, this is the only Zelda game where, like, depending on like what character you are, like, it changes the way you can like run around in the world. Which I guess the closest thing would be Twilight Princess when you can be a wolf. Probably my favorite gimmick in all of Zelda, to be honest. Not to spoil anything, but I'm definitely gonna make a top 5 gimmicks video eventually. And so, after teaching us Song of Healing, he realizes that we did not actually get the mask back, and he was just too hyped. He's pissed. But the thing is, we're good people. You know this. Oh, we need a little history on Majora's Mask. You know we're gonna get it back eventually. So, just these couple lines can cause so much stir up in just like the Zelda fan base. You know, they want to know the whole past of where Majora's Mask actually came from. And like, I think it's pretty clear that most people know that when they came up with this series for the game, there wasn't like a whole lore built to it. It kind of built itself. You know, they're like, oh, let's make the mask be cursed, whatnot. But then, I mean, you see a cutscene like this, like, what the hell is that? The thing is, man, the Zelda people could have it all planned out. You don't really know. The way they like tie it all together is good enough. I'll give them that. Especially Skyward Sword, man. Like, when I played Skyward Sword, I had no idea that it was like the beginning. You know, I just played through that. That's the best thing you can have in a Zelda game, is to not know how it goes, or kind of everything in general. Don't spoil yourself, because it makes the whole thing so much more immersive to just find out how the story goes from playing it, or from watching it, reading it, whatever. That's just my own opinion, I guess. But anyways, the Happy Mask Salesman has officially begged us to get that mask back, and we will. Because the thing is, we can't go anywhere until we're able to stop that moon. And the thing is, oh yeah, we got this this hint: Swamp Mountains, Ocean Canyon. Basically, he's telling us that we can find help to stop the moon by going to those 4 places. I definitely do not want to spoil what kind of help you get, but it's pretty sweet. So now we're a normal kid, and a lot of things are open for us to do in this town, like chop up this girl. But one big thing is that we can finally save the game. Oh my gosh, this dog that would attack us, get out of here. We can finally save the game now that we got through the first 3 days and got our human form back. So I think that's a great place to stop episode 2, the end of the prequel. I think the owl statue's right here. You can't save wherever you want, which is kind of unfortunate. You have to go to these statues. Nope. Oh. Okay, there we go. Yeah, strike it, and then it'll become a new save point. There's owl statues kind of, not all over, but they're in convenient enough places. And we're going to save. Definitely just pause the video there for now. So there's the whole prequel. I hope you liked it. This game's only going to get better and better. And starting next episode, we're going to head out to the first area, the swamp, where hopefully we'll find out how to get some help on stopping the moon from crashing, which is a pretty hefty task. So until then, I hope you